Hare Krishna. Please join me with folded hands for the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 4, entitled The Process of Creation, and we are going to continue this reading from text 8. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Hareradbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavya Mivabhati Kavibhishchapi Cheshtitam. Translation. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Purport: the acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful. And there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only, ekamshena sthito jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, the remaining three parts consist of the Vaikuntha Jagat or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Mad Dhama or Sanatana Dhama or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the other greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dhama would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with Dhama. His eternal name, quality, pastimes, entourage and personality are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi or having no creator, and Adi or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created. But the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayanaha paro avyaktat. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable, and thus such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends or how many stars and planets are there or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over space. In a news release from Moscow dated 21st February 1960, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. I am reading it in quotes. Russia's well-known professor of astronomy Boris Vorontsov-Vilyaminov said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with reason. It could be that life similar to that on Earth flourishes on such planets. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zirov, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt itself to normal existence with a low body temperature. He said that he felt that the gaseous composition of Martian atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which have become adapted to it. This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Bhinnam, that is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere, and the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers and Bhinnam means variegated. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmosphere of other planets. Easy Journey to Other Planets, one can refer to that book. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 25. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitra vrataha, bhutani yanti bhutegya, yanti mad yagyo apimam. Translation in quotes: those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. Quote closed. At this point I have to mention, a smile comes on my face when I read such things, because I hear nowadays that people are already, buying land on Moon and Mars, and they're thinking of alternate planets on which we people can live, because Earth has almost come to a stage in few years' time it may not be inhabitable, and mostly because of what we have done to it. And we are trying to already, kind of find a place that we can book in those kind of places. It kind of sounds extremely funny to me, because there is no way you can with this body go and live in one of those planets. And if at all you have to adapt your body and you can do it within your lifetime now, then it may be far easier to do that effort within this planet, for which you are more suitable anyway. And if we are not able to do that in a planet where we have lived for so long, and we must know this the most, then going to a new planet and trying to figure that out and make it suitable for us and make ourselves more suitable for that seems totally out of proportion even to think. And imagine this, right? I buy a place in Mars or Moon, and by the time even if I have a huge desire and I go and take birth in my next life there is no way I can claim right to that property that I have bought in this lifetime. So people, just think before you do such things, right? Anyway, enjoy. If you have more money than you can spend and you want to do that, then I think it's giving a lot of livelihood to a lot of scientists who don't know what to do. And anyway, they're doing that, and there's nothing some few individuals like us can do. But anyway, let us keep our intellect intact, understand what is being said, and use our lifetime in doing something meaningful, purposeful, which has some value to ourselves and to others around us. Anyways, with this, I had to just get it out of my mind so that it doesn't block, my own reading. Thank you for bearing me. For those of you who enjoy these snippets in between, I'm happy, and those who don't, I'll try to control that, right? So let's continue our reading. Maharaja Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Shukdev Goswami for such information? Maharaja Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world, but that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited and His activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord Himself in the unique statements of the Bhagavad Gita, and it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Shukdev Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada, and thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession only and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. Text 9. Yatha gunamstu prakriterya yugpat kramashopiva bibharti bhurishastvekaha kurvan karmani janmabhihi. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether He alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text 10. Vichikitsi tametanme bravitu bhagavan yatha Shabde brahmani nishnatah parasmimscha bhavan khalu. Translation. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms non-different from one another, and although He is the original person, He is still ever young with permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but He is very easily realized by His pure devotees. The expansions of different forms of the Lord, as from Krishna to Baladeva to Sankarshana, from Sankarshana to Vasudeva, from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, from Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to second Sankarshana, and from him to the Narayana Purushavasaras, and innumerable other forms which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river, are all one and the same. They are like lamps of equal power which kindle from one lamp to another. That is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that He is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from Him, He still remains the same complete whole. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vishyasate. Eva Vashishyate. As such, there is no validity in a material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculator. Thus, He remains always a mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is vastly learned in the Vedic literatures. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau. Therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception for mundane learned scholars, philosophers, or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotee, because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 54 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, then only can one know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or His holy name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc., unless one is engaged in His transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being freed from all other engagements, means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord. Only then can one know Him by the strength of devotional service. Maharaja Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Shukdev Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Shukdev Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra, attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka, but Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under material conditions. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaja Ambarisha, a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is a devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in the Vedic literatures but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavana, but his external potential works are directed in his features of Karanarna Vashai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities like Rasalila, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Purusha Avataras in connection with Shriti, Srishti Tattva, creational functions, following the examples of Maharaja Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and Shukadev Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. With this, we will conclude the first reading for today. I will see all of you with the second reading very soon. Till then, be safe, be happy, be conscious. Hare Krishna.